Hello, welcome to lesson 2, where we're going to carry on from the previous lesson where we initially set up the router with a name, we enabled telnet, we enabled console, and we made sure that our router was secure by putting in passwords, and then after we put in passwords we encrypted them, and then we saved our running config, the stuff we were working on, we saved it to our startup config. So if on your router you were to now exit, you'll be asked for a password. So as soon as somebody connects to the router, it's going to ask them for a password. So we type in Cisco, and then if I try to enable to get to exec mode, again it'll ask me for a password. These should be different passwords, but for this lesson we're just using Cisco. So now I'm now at a position where I can carry on configuring my router. One of the things that you quite often see is when we're trying to log on here, you'll see that there's no warnings. There's no a lot of routers will say no unauthorized access, or you're not allowed to use this router unless you've been given express permission. A lot of people will just give a warning. So that's called a message of the day, or you can sometimes call it a login, a banner login as well. So we're going to put in a message of the day. So our message of the day will be straightforward. It'll be no unauthorized access. So to do that, we need to get to config T. So we got to remember to go to configure terminal, and you'll see I've got my config there, so I can now start to type in commands. So I'll type in banner message of the day, MOTD, and then I have to type in the banner, but you have to use a start and an end character. So, and it has to be something that you're not going to use in your message, because if you start with something and then halfway through your message it sees that character used again, it's going to end. So I'm going to use, for example, we can use the $sign. So I put a $sign in, then I can do perhaps a load of hash keys. So I can type in, I'll put in caps, no unauthorized access, and then I'll put some more in. And then what I do is I started with a $sign, so I'll end with a $sign. So hit enter, and it's now saved that. How can I test if it's worked? If I go to exit, and I'll exit again. If you notice now, it doesn't look very tidy on my screen, but a little bit of thought and a little bit of imagination, and you can put in a better banner yourself. But as you can see, it's got the hash keys, no unauthorized access, and then it asks me to log on. So I now type in Cisco. So I've now got a warning. So I type in Cisco, and then I'll type enable, and it's going to ask me again. So I'll type in Cisco, and I've now set up a router. So the next thing we want to do is enable our Ethernet ports. I don't know if they're gigabit ports or fast Ethernet ports. I'm not sure what they are. So we first of all need to have a look how these are set up. So if I do show IP, show IP interface brief, and you can see they are not fast Ethernet ports, they're gigabit Ethernet ports. So gigabit Ethernet 0001. I've also got a VLAN 1, and you can see they're all at IP address. They're all unassigned. They're all okay to use, but they've all been unset, and they're also down. So these ports have not been brought up. So even with an IP number on them, they'd still remain down. So what I need to do now is to add an IP address to them. So the first thing I need to do is pick the port I want to use. So I type in interface, or you can just type in int, and it's gigabit Ethernet 00. So it's all one word. Gigabit Ethernet 0/0. I hit the enter key. You can see, I'm going to say it's a deliberate mistake. You can see I'm not in config T. I'm not in the configure terminal. So if I type in conf T, I've now elevated my permissions, so I can now retype that command, which was interface. What was I? I was doing interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0. So interface gigabit Ethernet 0. Type that in, and then you can. It's put me to the next slide. So I type in IP address, and I need to type in. So this is 00 here. So I need to type in 192.168.5.1, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. If I hit enter there, it will have put that in for me. If I exit it, just to check, and I do, have I got a show run then? No. So I do show run. No, that's not what I wanted actually. Exit, and I type in show IP interface brief, and you can see now I've got gigabit Ethernet 00 is 192.168.5.1. So it's been manually assigned. It's not been picked up through DHCP or anything like that, and it's still down. So if I go to conf T, so I'm now at the right place this time, and I type in interface gigabit Ethernet 0/1, and that's going to be IP address 192.168.6.1, and again that'll be 255.255.255.0, and I hit enter there, and then exit it. So I come out of config, and I do have I got it there? Show IP interface brief, and you can see now I've got 192.168.1, and if I'd done a typo here, all I could do is repeat the process and just type in a new number. So I've enabled them, but as you can see, they're still down. Both these ports are still down, so that's a problem for us. So the next step that I've got to do is I've got to activate these ports or start these ports up. So to do that, I need to do it's the same steps again really. So I need to go to conf T. So I'm in the config, and this time I do interface. I'll type it all in interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0, whoops, 0/0. Thought I could see a typo there. Let me just correct that. I don't like typing on my laptop. That's my excuse. Gigabit Ethernet I hit the enter key, and now I type in no shutdown. Okay, so what to do? Oh yeah, so it's interface gigging it is a change state to up. So the port is up now. And again, if I repeat this for 01, so I've used the arrow key. So I've used the arrow key and I'm in the interface, and then I do no shutdown. You see change state to up. So if I exit that, sometimes you have to type it in twice, exit, and then I'll like a show interface IP brief. You'll see that we're now up, so we've got the two IP numbers and they're all up, and you can see now that we've started to these starting to light up, so they're active, so everything's good from that side of things. What else do we need to do? The last thing we want to do is I wanted to do rather than typing an IP number, we can also add a domain name to establish SSH. So to do that, let's just do that last step. So I'm going to type in conft. So I've elevated myself. And that's straightforward enough. I type in IP domain dash name, and I'll just call it test.com. Hit the enter key. So that's been done. So if I type in exit now, and we'll come back to this later on where we'll use test.com rather than an IP address. So I've exited out of that. If I type in show run, I have to remember to hit the enter key, so you can see on our config now we've got host name, site A router, service password is now encrypted, so we've got encryption. We've got no IP domain lookup, so that means we can. It's not going to go looking for errors. It's not, if I type a command in, it's not going to go on the network, on the internet, and try to find the command. IP domain name is test.com. Interface 00 is 192.168.5.1. It's set, the speed is set to auto, and it doesn't say it's down. Again, Ethernet 01 is up and running. VLAN 1 is not configured. There's our banner, no unauthorized access. There's our console and our telnet being configured as well. So we've done quite a lot there. We've basically finished configuring the router. So the last thing we should do, just to make sure we don't have any more errors, is copy running config to startup-config. So just so that we save our work, so we know where we are, and I'll just hit the enter key, and that's saved our config, so our work's been saved. So I think the last step for this lesson is we'll go into the PC and we'll give it an IP address. So it's 192.168.5.252. 255.2550. We'll leave it at that, and we'll put in we'll put in a gateway of 192.168.5.1. So we've done that one, and for this we might as well we'll come back and configure this PC another time. So that's the end of it for this lesson today. Next lesson we'll very quickly go through configuring this router. So we'll configure this router so that this switch actually. We'll configure this switch that is up and running, and then we'll see if we can start telnet in between computers and stuff. So until next lesson, goodbye.